Welcome all to Off the Cuff with Namrita. I am so delighted to feature these women artists whose expressions and installations make us think about our own existence and humanity. They all are supremely talented and sometimes deeply mystical for common folks like me. I would like to warmly welcome Kiana Honarmand, Indrani Nayar-Gall, and Pallavi Sharma to Off the Cuff. Welcome all.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
And a little bit about them. Kiana Honarmand is an Iranian artist whose work delves into the complexities of her cultural identity, the violation of women's rights in Iran, and the Western perception of the Swana identity. So, Kiana had to Google Swana what it meant. Now I know. You can say for the people. And Indrani Nayar-Gall weaves global narratives of marginalization, patriarchy, and misogyny through her practice and installations, 2D, 3D media, and moving image. In a career that spans over 35 years, including teaching, she continually expands her practice, most recently directing two documentaries also. So, and Pallavi Sharma is an extremely talented multidisciplinary artist whose work is profound and powerful at all levels. Her art questions existential beliefs and makes us think. She uses art as a tool for social change. She paints, performs, and writes poetry. She is also the founder of a nonprofit, Inner Eye Arts. So, one warm welcome once again.
So much. Thank you so much.
So, Palvi, straight away, I'm going to ask you about the upcoming event, Voices of Freedom. So, what is it about? Why the title? And everything about it.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much, Namrita, for having us. It's always been an honor and it's such a great opportunity to talk to you and discuss our upcoming show all the time. Thank you. Thank you so much. Voices of Freedom, it talks about interconnectedness of creativity and freedom and brings and explores like a diverse meaning of freedom. So all these 11 fabulous artists who are in the show, they bring their perspectives on freedom, what it means to them. And as I said, all these 11 artists, mostly they are from San Francisco Bay Area, but one of them is from like an Indrani is from East Coast. And we have also an artist from India who is placed in Bangalore, Shelly Sharma Bhatnagar. So I am just honored to work with all of them. And I was reading this poem by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore ji on freedom, and it came in my mind that we need to have discussion at this pivotal moment of history, where so much going on in the world, where we are losing our freedom of speech, freedom of all sorts. So that's why this exhibition is there, where all these creative minds are exploring freedom in different ways. And there are artists who talks about body and mind freedom, like what it means to have an agency or ourselves. There are artists who are exploring the freedom from intersectional lens, and yeah, so that's basically it about uh, and there is a community art component to it as well, which I can discuss at a later point while we are talking.
Okay, wonderful. And it starts on October 6th, right?
Yes, it opens on October 6th and it will be there till October 26th.
Perfect. And we'll talk about the venue and where we can get the tickets later, I guess. And now on to Kiana. Kiana, you are an Iranian artist, and as a woman, like Palvi said, you will be talking about diverse freedom. So, what does freedom of expression mean to you, and how are you navigating the pain of repression, in your art?
Um, I think freedom of expression is one of the most important things that we should value and we should fight for, preserving for with all of our, with all the forests that we have. Because I grew up in Iran, where there are, we live under a dictatorship, and there are not many freedoms, like personal freedoms, to whether it's to express, religious beliefs, political beliefs, anything. So, I grew up with a lot of oppression, and in my work, I try to use just a very small platform that I have to talk about all of those things, and it has come out through my work in different ways, whether it's about, things like censorship, or whether it's about, freedom of women to be able to express themselves through not only their words, but through what they wear and how they behave, etc.
Mhm. And like when you're working through your, installations or art or something, uh, what do you get from it? How does it affect you as a woman?
I think one of the first things that art does is that it is cathartic. When you get to make something, you get to really kind of think through it and heal, but also it is such a great way to communicate all of these issues with other people. And I found out that not only, I get to, talk about people who've gone through the same experience, but many different people from different cultures and different backgrounds can relate to the essence of the work through their own personal experience, because a lot of something that we all have in common, or the shared human experience, is much bigger than just the small differences that we have in our cultures and backgrounds.
Wonderful. You nailed it. Like shared experiences and intersectionality, everywhere we are bound as humans, and we will connect, to pain and joy or whatever. So, Indrani, coming to you, you've been an activist and strong voice against patriarchy and misogyny. You said patriarchy, supremacy, misogyny has no color. And I personally feel, I complete, these days, especially when you look at the news or some stuff going on in our country also, and the crimes against women are growing day by day. How do you find the solace and hope through your art, and how do you navigate that?
By talking with women. That's the first thing I will say, because I had a tremendous opportunity to work with survivors who suffered, continue to suffer from childhood, with a sort of very a horrible system in India. That's my documentary was about, and that's kind of opened me up. And I think as women, especially if you're born in India and you had taken any public transportation or you've grown up, you have experienced these things, and they are marks, their touches all over your body, and they never go away. And but as a child, you're scared, and you're never able to communicate with another person because you're shamed and all of that. And I guess I suffered the same way as others did. But what I felt mostly when I spoke with these women, the tremendous inner power and determination they had to survive. And that gave me the power, that gave me the courage to talk about these works. And I felt it is important to talk about these issues. But predominantly, I was totally mesmerized and bowled away by their power and their sheer determination to live. I mean, they were abused over and over again. As a result, they had children, but they still survived for the children. I mean, and we know when you have abuse, it's difficult to go through that. They had to, but they didn't have any choice. And I said, speaking with them, I felt that every morning they get up, they put a smile on their face, and they start a new day. And that to me is the sheer power. And I see the same power among the survivors everywhere. And I see that in the current, I will say, women's movement, how we continue to be, how we are strong and how we continue to fight. And I think that's what I think I feel is important. I feel it's important to talk about it. And by talking about it, I think we gain power from it too. It empowers us too. The moment I feel that you can, I found Pallavi's um, Voices of Freedom tremendously inspiring and an extremely important choice of words. And I felt that, that and that is to me the core of the thing. That's what I always felt by talking with these women and all. That's what I am expressing in my work. The moment you can voice, moment you can open your mouth, you are empowered. And I think I have even forgotten what your question was. It's a very,
No, no, no.
a very emotional subject for me.
It is so well said, and I think these survivors, I'll say, you know, if you reach out to them, because they are sometimes living in shame because of the
Yes,
society,
yes,
the way they look at them, and
yeah.
if people like you or anyone can amplify their voices or just
Mhm.
empathize with them, I think they get strength from that too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you, all of you, for what you are doing. And Pallavi, coming to you now, I've seen your work and also read your poetry, and you've given expression to pain and highlighted feudal mindsets in your work. You bring varied artists from different cultures through, events like this, and you are doing wonderful work through NRI Arts. So, what have you learned from interacting with women artists from different backgrounds? One commonality and maybe one difference, in your interactions with them.
Wow, what a nice question. Whenever I talk to women, we do find commonality. Like, we have the same experience, no matter where you go, where they are from. It's patriarchal structure, like we are, like, working under, and we all in some ways or the other trying to overcome that and show our resistance to it, and manifest it in different ways. So definitely this is the common thing, like, nobody loves it, the
Yeah.
patriarchal structure, and want to have that agency on ourselves so that we can make our decisions and have that freedom. So that urge for freedom is the common thread which I do see in all the women, and that's one thing. And as far as the differences are concerned, it's on a very, like, um, I have seen that people sometimes, like, who are not vocal at times, but they do things in different ways to attain that freedom. And just reading the histories and how women in different ways they have navigated and negotiated with the society, it just makes amazes me. And it's all in bed there, like in our nannies, daddies, like they have done that.
Yes.
And they inspire me all the time, like, our actions or ways of attaining it might be different in some ways today, but all the way they have been trying to do things differently, but actually their motive was the same.
Very true. So well said. I know we've seen our generation struggle, and we just hope to keep stepping up every generation. That's what we're hoping. And yeah, and there are different ways to, speak your mind out. You don't have to speak, like you're saying, art can be expressed in different ways. So, so true, Pallavi. Coming more towards the event now, which are the other artists being featured? And you also talked about the Dalit Dreamland, who showcase. So a little bit about that.
Ah, talking about the Lit Dreamlands, which was curated by Manu Kaur, who is
Hmm.
one of the participating artists in the show. They do photo-based works about gender and caste oppression, and try to reclaim the space to talk about issues uh, uh, which been like bothering them and their Dalit community. Manu is a queer, non-binary Dalit feminist committed to caste annihilation, queer
Hmm.
liberation, and mental health activism.
Mm.
In their own words, their work is centered around advocating for caste oppressed communities, defending queer and trans lives, and dismantling the anti-blackness that exists with the, South Asian diasporic
Mhm.
community. So that's their
Okay.
center, and we have wonderful, body of work which will be showcased during our exhibit at
Mm.
Lindsay Dirkz Brown Gallery. There are many other artists, like all the artists, I would say, like, they are there in this show for a reason, because their work speaks volume about freedom. We have artists, you must have known her work as well, Reiko Fuji, who's a
Yes,
Japanese
yes, I've
American.
seen her work. Yeah.
And in her work, she talks about how this freedom comes with set of responsibility and action, and starting from responsibility of voting. And in today's time, so we are just on time in November, before November, October, talking about and urging people to go out and vote. So she has created this community centered artwork where all the postcards related to voting rights will be displayed in one of the showcase.
So wonderful.
Another artist, Ruth Tabeke,
Mm.
her work deals with environmental justice and shows us like new pathways which are more just and humane, and dismantles this human-centric world which we have created for ourselves.
Mm.
Another artist from Bangalore, as I said, like Shelly Sharma Bhatnagar, she talks about capitalist structure and the constraints on women again, and also about consumerism
Okay.
in the
So how many?
patriarchy.
There are 12 artists altogether?
No, there are 11
Oh,
artists.
11 artists altogether.
Right.
So I will urge everybody. It's in San Ramon, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
which
It's in San Ramon, and it's a gallery named Lindsay Dirkz Brown Gallery, which
okay,
is located in the city center complex.
okay.
And we are very thankful for the city that every year, like, they host us to have such kind of shows. Yes.
And where can they get the tickets, or is it a free event? How does that go?
It's open to public
Okay.
from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the weekdays, and the weekends, whenever the center is open, the gallery is open as well. So
Wonderful. So, I'll urge whoever is listening to definitely drop by. It's there for 2 or 3 weeks. And I think extend your, perception about freedom and life and humanity and, much more. Because minds like these, all these artists, I think it's only expands our horizons also as viewers, I'll say. So I think go there. And one common question, for all of you is that, art thrives when there is freedom to express. So do you
mhm.
think the present times are conducive to creativity? Because we are living in the times of cancel culture, I'll say. And, it's difficult to say what you have to say. So, do you think art is this is a good time for art to thrive the way it should? So, Indrani, if you can start.
I think you should, because it is also cancel culture. At the same time, it is almost like a peculiar time where anybody can say anything and justify, which is not good at times. But I think that's why it is more important to
Mm,
express yourself
yes, and just
and not to hold back,
hmm,
as I am doing it in this series, and I feel it is very important and not to hold back and to say what you need to say.
wonderful. You need to be courageous and brave in
Yes,
these days. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Kiana, anything on it?
Yeah, I think, yeah, now more than ever, I think one of the most important responsibilities of the artist is just to be honest and push against anything that, is there to like either silence them, or just in general, even like despite the cancel culture, like they have to be brave and be out there and talk about what needs to be talked about. I
Mhm.
don't believe in self-censorship when it comes to art.
Oh, okay, okay, good. Yeah, Pallavi.
Yes, I always say like these kind of exhibition, they become spaces for conversation. And it's very easy at times to hear from people who you agree with,
Hmm.
but it's very difficult task to sit along with the person whom you don't agree with. And that's very important nowadays, to create a discourse so that and have a conversation. So
Huh.
these exhibition spaces are not just like, put things on the wall and just, enjoy it, but actually having that opportunity to connect with people, to talk to them. And conversation is the key for, having a dialogue with people, diverse range of people. And yeah.
I think you nailed it. We need to create safe spaces for conversation, any kind of conversations. That is important because people are not sitting face to, and talking. They're
Yes.
just, throwing their opinions out there, and it's pretty chaotic, I have to say. But one personal questions, which, I was thinking about art. I'm not an artist per se, but what I see, so I thought I'll ask you that do you think art is a leveler, or do you think there is an hierarchy among artists too? Because to me as an audience, art is subjective. So but the business of art creates these you know uneven levels. So anybody would want to answer this?
Uh, I can say a few things. I
Oh,
think the hierarchy is difficult to go away,
okay.
but I think it is a lot less than what it used to be before, because there's a recognition of,
Mm.
artists not as a professional artist that you've got, that you need to have a degree, but artists as practitioner, and the whole the genre of art and everything has opened up. What is defined as art
Mm.
has become so broad that I think it has kind of leveled the field to some extent,
Mm.
to a major extent, I will
A
say.
major
Yeah.
extent, because yeah, I guess I understand what you're trying to say. And like for people like us, how can we look at art? I mean, because we say, oh, okay, that's a known name, everybody rushes there. But how can we as people just go and look at art? I know it's a could be a long answer, but anybody, you know Kiana or Pallavi.
Yeah. That was exactly the reason why we started Inner Eye Art. Living in suburban spaces, I just realized that, there is so much phobia among people about art and talking about art, and then thinking that it's not their cup of tea. But creating spaces like this where people can come and actually see work of art, talk to artists, have this conversation, and also engage the community to create art, because art is such a democratic thing, everybody can be part of it. And we need to have more and more spaces like that, so that we it can be more engaged, it can be more, accessible. So all these things matters a lot, and it's partially our responsibility at times too, as curator, as a community organizer, to create such spaces, so that that kind of phobia and ways of looking at art can be developed. Yes.
Very true. So have an open mind about art, I'll say, as viewers, I think. Um, yeah. Any last words? And I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
yeah.
have
In,
lots of things to say. I
yes.
want to, if it is possible, I want to give shout out to all my participating artists, and like Kiana, Indrani, of course they are here. But other than that, like Maggie Ying, Ria Lindy Guzman, Pamela Yavnes, Elan Bepp, Irene Vibava, Shelly Sharma Bhatnagar, all of them. Thank you so much. If I have missed anybody's name, I'm extremely sorry, but without you, this show was not possible. And last but not the least, Inner Eye Art board members who are working relentlessly to put together this show. I'm very, very thankful to them for always like having this kind of support. And one thing which we didn't talk, that was community art component to this show, where we have been working for an year now. by creating workshops for community. And people like Reiko Fuji, she came to give workshops to them on how to create jelly prints and different ways of recreating or creatively expressing them. And they have put together this book in a fabric, which is fabulous. These are 11 community artists who have come together to create, and it was an open call, whoever wanted to join free of cost. And we have been working together for last 1 year, and all are so excited to be part of and getting to work with all these professional artists who will be displayed alongside. So yeah, that's
I know, I know. So thanks to Inner Eye Arts. So, people, if you need more information about this wonderful event, please go to innereyearts.org.
yeah, .com.
.com. Okay, innereyearts.com. And also follow Pallavi Sharma on social media and other artists. And what I'll say is the effect of art on our society is not seen immediately. It's a slow progression of changing mindsets. And these are the people who are trying to make changes. And maybe we'll see the effect in a few other generations later on, but you have to keep going. And I appreciate you all coming to Off the Cuff, giving me the time to talk, and so it's wonderful. Hope to catch you all and your work at the event. So thank you, Kiana, Indrani, and Pallavi. Take care and all the best.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Namrita. Thank you,
Thank
Pallavi.
you.
Thank you.